Good morning. I'm the Moon Mama. Happy Tuesday. I love Tuesdays. It's so interesting how all the days are starting to sort of come in together. Um, but probably not for people who are parenting at home, because I will say that the most challenging thing about all of this is at home parenting. Just the constant interacting with our children, um, not having the opportunity to sort of take breaks. And so I'm realizing that I have to be very organized and create things to assist, which is really fascinating. Anyway, so nonetheless, today's Tuesday, and Tuesday is governed by Mars, and Mars is the planet that governs the warrior aspect of us, our ability to be able to take action and be assertive and put ourselves out there and fight for ourselves and defend ourselves and assert ourselves. That is Mars. Mars also, in someone's chart, a woman's chart generally, when I'm looking at a woman's chart, I can say, oh, you're attracted to these type of people. This is the type of energy that you're drawn to. Mars usually shows for a woman really your ideal way of connecting with the opposite sex, or the opposite energy, because it doesn't have to be the opposite sex, it just is an opposite energy. And then Mars in Aquarius. It governs friends, organizations, who you're becoming. It's who you don't know yourself to be yet. For instance, when I was younger, I had no idea that I would be who I am. I had no idea that I had a sense of it a bit. Like I knew that I was a bit of a minister, but my idea of ministry was often connected to Christianity. And I knew that that wasn't what I was going to do. Like I used to feel like, oh, I'm a minister. And then I would spend days crying about it because I was like, I'm not going to be a Christian minister. Like inside of myself, I'd be at war. Like I'm not going to be a Christian minister. And now I get it. Like I am a minister and I'm not a Christian minister, but it's the same sort of thing. And so this is who I was inside of me and how it has developed, right? So it's like Aquarius governs what you're developing inside of you, what you're becoming. And it's an internal voice that's pushing you along and guiding you and saying, do this. Oh, that looks good. And so that's what this Aquarian energy is. So we have energy today towards our vision. Who are you becoming? What are you knowing for yourself? What are you calling forth from within yourself? What are the seeds that are inside of your psyche blossoming to become? It also governs, like I said, friends. So because it's an aggression, it could put us at odds with our friends, and things that have sort of been available to us might not feel as suited to us any longer. Relationships. I know I'm going through that in my relationships. My relationships are beginning to really change and transform, but we're also moving into a Venus retrograde. We're in the Venus retrograde shadow. So there is an opportunity for us to begin to renew, review, revisit how we relate to others, how we relate in our friendships, how we relate in our partnerships, all of them. That can be business partnerships, romantic partnerships, just the way that we are connected to another person, how we show up with one other person. I know for me, in the past, because of how I was raised, I have a tendency to be a caregiver, right? So that's why I do the work that I do, because I am a caregiver. But I've been doing that caregiving all of my life because that pattern was born inside of me. The thing that I love about the universe is that it sets us up to be who we're going to become. So my life was set up really early on that I was around people who were in crisis. And when you're in that environment, you're either going to become someone who's driven by crisis, where you are having crisis in your life all the time, or you're going to be someone who's fixing the crisis. And I have had both of those. I've been someone who's always in crisis, but now I'm a bit of a crisis fixer. And so I'm seeing how my childhood set me up for who I am. But I'm also seeing how it's out of balance. It's something that I did in order to make myself valuable, to make myself have necessity in my environment. So when people were in crisis, I would be the one that would come, born out of a need to fit in, and say, well, here, you can do this and you can do this, and can I help you this way? And I would bring comfort and connection to soothe the environment. And that was the way that I made myself valuable. And so now I'm looking at those things and seeing, does that serve me? What relationships am I doing that in? Is that sincere? Is that my truth? And looking at ways that I can renew, review, and revitalize that. And that's the reason to join the Venus retrograde course, What You Won't Do for Love. So I'm starting this course on Friday. I'll be giving love rituals, helping you look at patterning in your family and how you were raised, how you became who you are, why you relate the way you do, why you relate to men the way you do, why you relate to friends the way you do, and is it serving you, what works, what is not working, and how you can begin to transform that. So if you're interested in that, you can sign up for the Venus retrograde course. I'm going to put a link here in my link tree, or you can also just ask me to send you the link and I will. But this is a really incredible time while Venus is going to be in retrograde and in the retrograde shadow through August 1st. So I'm going to be doing a 3-series course. Each course is going to cost $21, and they're all incredible. The first one is on relating. The second one will be on money, because Venus governs money. And the third one is how you feel, like really coming into a real understanding of the value of your feelings and how important they are in generating the world that you want to live in. Your feelings are key to everything, and most of us are overriding our feelings, ignoring our feelings, suppressing our feelings, and feelings are the gift that keeps on giving. So your ability to identify them, direct the energy of them is primary, and so I'll be teaching that in one of these courses. So you can sign up for that course, but let's get back to the moon. The moon today is in Cancer, and Cancer is, like I said, it's the energy of our early childhood foundations, your internal world. It's governed by the moon, your inner world, your inner feelings. So it's very significant for you to feel your feelings, just to give yourself permission to ride them, because the water inside of you is creating your feelings and the moon is pulling on that. So the moon in Cancer is saying, how do you feel? What do you need to feel secure? What do you need to feel safe? And if you just be with those questions, you don't have to answer. It's not an analytical exercise. It's not about answering it. It truly is about feeling it. It's like one of the things that I know about my life and myself is that I feel everything. Like everything for me is about feeling. And if I trust the feelings or acknowledge the feelings, then they'll lead me to something that really is beneficial. Like Sunday, I just had the most incredibly, or I think Saturday, the most incredibly difficult day, feeling so heavy, like I was giving birth to something. And I didn't resist it. I just allowed it and I followed it and just rolled with it. And by the end of the day, I realized that I was giving birth to a new perspective of my mother. And I had really, over the years in my life with her as a child, which I really lived with my grandmother, I had made a decision. I created meaning in my life that my mother was weak because she was with men who didn't value her. In my mind, these are all judgments. These are all stories of a little girl. She was with men who didn't deserve her. She was so nurturing, and she cooked and cleaned. And my mother was like what I would call a black geisha or a hood geisha. She just created beauty wherever she went, with a cigarette hanging out of her mouth and drinking a Mickey's beer. That's who my mother was, and if you got on her nerves, fuck you, fuck you, like that. But beauty and clean and smelling good and the food was good. That's just who my mother was. But in my young mind, because it looked like, because my father abused her, I said, I'm never going to be that way because she doesn't get her needs met. And this Saturday, I realized my mother was doing everything she did for her. She wasn't doing it for a man. She wasn't doing it to get love and affection. She was doing it because that's who she was, and she loved to do it. And that changed my whole world changed when I got that. My whole world shifted on its axis when I realized that my mother was who she was because she loved being that way. She did what she did. She cooked, she cleaned, she served people because she loved it. Not because she felt inferior, not because she was trying to get anything, because she actually felt empowered. And so that changed my reality. It changed the way I now understand how my mother related, which will now shift my own reality. So use this energy, this Cancer energy, to feel what you feel, and then follow the feelings, because they will lead you to something fantastic. And allow them to lead you into this Venus retrograde course, because it's time for us to transform these thought patterns and beliefs so that we can get free and have our power back. And when we access our mental constructs and understand why we are and how we do and what we think and how it impacts everything else, when we begin to reframe it, it will deliver us into a new way of seeing ourselves. Just the way me looking at my mother, looking at her life, seeing the meaning I created, has delivered me into a new way, a new perception of her, which is going to empower me to be a better person, a better woman, a better healer, more open-hearted, more impactful in ways that wasn't available to me prior. So with that, I am the Moon Mama. Have a wonderful day today. If you'd like to sign up for the Venus retrograde course, I'll send you the link for that. If you'd like to get a Venus retrograde reading, you can do both. The readings are $77. I can send you the link for that. But everything is available in the Teachables, in my Teachables website, and you can have everything there. Okay, you all. Peace and blessings. I'm the Moon Mama. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.